Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What's going on, everybody? It's that time of the week. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for the SHW podcast. This is our wrestling. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, joined by GB Gerard Bonner and the lovely Diana Michelle. Y'all, we are 1 week away from SHW41. How we feeling?
7 more days. Thanks, GB.
Yes. Yeah, 7 whole days.
7 whole days.
And not a word without you. Sorry. Anyway, happy July, everybody. Jeez, time is flying. I mean, like, the first half of the year is officially over, and now things are going to move very, very fast, certainly on our calendar. We got a lot going on here in SHW, but it's good to see everybody.
Absolutely. Man, I cannot wait for SHW 41.
Mm-hmm.
1 week away. And like you said, GB, like time is flying. We're halfway through 2022 already.
Right.
And then you know what comes next? We got Rumble Jack.
Oh, yeah. We got
and that
Rumble
also
Jack.
means the anniversary's around the corner as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
still here for.
Good Lord.
Still here for. I think there are a ton of people out there, naysayers, whatever you want to call them, that never would have expected us to make it to a 4th anniversary. But it's right around the corner.
Sure is. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So,
but before we get there, we got to get through SHW 41, and we've already got a major card lined up once again. 8 big matches have been announced, and hey, let's go through the card here and let's do a little preview show. What do you say?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
All right. Well, let's start out here, and we were just talking about this off air. The size difference in this matchup is kind of ridiculous. I dubbed it Priest versus Priest because you've got Adam Priest making his return, taking on the Priest of Punishment, Judas. And no offense to Adam Priest, but height-wise, even compared to a guy my size or like a 6-foot guy, he's on the shorter side. But when you put him in there with a giant like Judas, it's even more noticeable. And here's the thing. I don't want to take anything away from Adam Priest. He's an amazing athlete, amazing wrestler. We've seen him have some great matches with different caliber of talent. But somebody like Judas, I just don't know how I feel for Adam Priest in this matchup. Judas is we've talked about it before. He's a monster. He's a giant. He's scared the crap out of us numerous times. And I don't know.
And will.
Yeah. And we'll probably continue to.
Don't give me any more ideas, Diana.
I don't have to. I'm going to tell you, the man is psycho.
So
Look.
we touched on this a second ago. Rumble Jack's around the corner. This is a Rumble Jack qualifying matchup. Wow. So the winner of this match moves on to the Rumble Jack.
Wow.
Well, first of all, that's going to be interesting either way, because what kind of frame of mind is Judas in? He came unhinged. Unhinged at SHW 40. I mean, did that match ever start? I never heard the bell. Never heard the bell. And then the guy comes out bloody with a steel rod in his eye. I mean, what's going on there? Does he hate Cyrus that much? Is that going to be a factor? Is Cyrus going to be in the building, around the building, in the neighborhood? What's going on? Who knows? But as far as Adam Priest, I think he's going to bring the fight. Might be a different, like two different focuses maybe. That might be to his advantage.
Yeah. So
interesting to see the two sizes, but I mean, let's go with it. Let's see what happens. We've seen weirder, right?
True. We can always say that from here on out, that we have always seen weirder in SHW.
I had a whole thing I was going to say, and you knocked me off my block. You got me. So I'll start by saying this. First and foremost, Adam Priest versus Judas is really a marquee match that could main event any spot in the Southeast or any part of independent wrestling. Consider all that Judas has done. Consider all that Adam Priest has done. Both of these guys are multi-year veterans in this business. They have been around the block. They have fought the best of the best. I don't think at this point Adam Priest is as intimidated by the size of Judas as we might be, right?
Of course.
Because he has navigated mountains like that before. Now, what may be different is, to your point, Diana, the frame of mind that Judas is in right now. We've seen him do some pretty dastardly things over time, but the level of hatred that exists between him and Cyrus, I mean, he literally went to poke the man's eye out. And so my thought, there are two thoughts I have. Thought number one is, you talk about strange things. This is probably the only time I'm going to say this, right? So Adam Priest is no Zach the Gear guy. If Zach the Gear guy could powerbomb our champion, I think Adam Priest could really do some damage to Judas. Far more training. His body can take a whole lot more punishment. I think Adam Priest is going to be a much more of a contender than some would think, which leads me to my prediction. I don't make a lot of predictions on this show, but I'm going to make a prediction. So SHW 40 taught us something. It taught us to expect the unexpected. During that match that I just mentioned, a former SHW champion showed up out of nowhere. He wasn't scheduled to be in the building. He was not booked on the card, and he ended up making a profound difference in this match. I don't think that after what happened at SHW 40, that there are enough people to keep a certain monster away from the action building. So I'm going to go on record, and I probably need a barricade as I say this, to say that somehow, some way, Adam Priest qualifies for the Rumble Jack.
Whew. Well, one way to find out, and that's to
There is one way to find out.
Join us next Friday, July 8th, for SHW 41 at the Action Building. Oh, it's going to be good. But hey, that's just the tip of the iceberg there. That's just the first match I'm announcing here. And of course, as we go through these, we don't know what the match order is going to be. So I'm just pulling them out of thin air here as we talk about them. But since we're talking about Rumble Jack qualifier matches, another Rumble Jack qualifier, a bit of a mystery. We've got the Carly Bravo show returning to the Action Building for SHW 41. Facing a mystery opponent in a Rumble Jack qualifier match. The thing is, I don't know that it matters to Carly Bravo. Carly Bravo's on such a hot streak lately, you know, and kind of proven his point that he's been telling everybody all along. Like, he's here. He's for real. He's not a replacement. You know, he's an official roster member now, and he is making SHW the Carly Bravo show. I don't think it matters to him one bit who it's going to be. And honestly, I don't really have any idea who it could be. I mean, it could be anybody. So do you guys have any ideas, any guesses?
What if it was David? What if he snuck back in today?
I will say David Ali, who fooled us one time last year that he was leaving. Then he showed up like month, and then we would go through this whole farewell, and then like a month later, he shows up at Mucha Lucha last week. So I'm like, okay, David, did you go to Chicago?
And Southern Pride.
Yeah, and Southern Pride.
Wow.
Like, come on, man. So who knows? You could be right.
He can't. I mean, you can't be missed if you don't go away, right?
He can't stay away.
And then when you do come back, it's somebody like, oh, you're back.
Yeah.
He just loves us too much. I get it. I mean,
I do. I mean, you guys know I was heartbroken when he left, but either way, this is back on Carly Bravo's show. Who will be his mystery opponent? It doesn't matter. Carly Bravo qualifies. He's going to the Rumble Jack. I'm going to call it, not just to get on his good side, because I probably in that little. I didn't even get no love in the ring last show, so I mean, I'm kind of feeling it.
You called him crazy.
I did, but did you not see the pictures and the faces and the way he acts in the ring? He's a whole different, like, when he comes to that curtain, Carly Bravo's on that, whatever it is he's on, and he's 100% that, whatever that is that comes through him. He's so much fun to watch. He is. But I swear, I'm going to stick by it. He's got some craziness to him, but he qualifies. I don't care who it is. He qualifies.
All right.
So you create an interesting scenario, though, because if David Ali shows up and costs Carly Bravo a shot at the Rumble Jack, that would be the ultimate payback.
It would.
Stranger things have happened. But I have a bigger question. Why on earth is Carly Bravo in a Rumble Jack qualifier match?
That's a great point.
If you beat the longest reigning SHW champion in history, one of two things should happen. Either he should be put in the Rumble Jack at the last number, or give the man a title shot. Why are we playing these games with Carly Bravo right now? Now, I'm not trying to get on anybody's bad side. I'm just saying what is. And what is if you beat the greatest champion in our history, you should be in title contention. Why are you putting him through paces? And I have questions about that. I do. I don't want to get anybody's bad side. But I'm just saying.
All things, I just don't have answers for that. So I'm just going to keep my trap shut.
So I feel for whoever walks through that door. With that said, the one thing we have learned in this short time under this new regime is Brooklyn is a bit more resourceful than any of us ever imagined. She has pulled some interesting things out of her hat. And so I don't know what she has in store for Carly. If I'm Carly, I'm training hard. I'm preparing for the unexpected. But he's a guy, again, he's come in at a moment's notice. He knows what that's like. He can prepare for anything. But again, I say, why is Carly Bravo in a Rumble Jack qualifier after he beat the number one champion we've had, the longest reigning champion, and then he beat the only guy who was undefeated all year at SHW 40? What else does he have to do?
Which makes me think that this mystery opponent's going to be significantly
yes,
important, because it's not going to be just anybody off the street. Just we couldn't fight, just bring them in. It's got to be somebody that's worthy of Carly Bravo's show.
And I'm just throwing all kinds of controversy out there, because here's another thought. Usually, now obviously the number varies from year to year, but usually there's somewhere around 25 to 30 people in the Rumble Jack. But everybody's not in a qualifying match. Again, I ask the question, why is Carly Bravo in a qualify? Has he not already qualified? Now, somebody's going to come for me. Don't come for me.
No, that's valid. That's valid.
Go after our booker, Brooklyn. But it's a real question. I mean,
but here's what's interesting is that if you follow a lot of these guys and gals on social media, it seems like Carly and Brooklyn are hitting it off. They get along great. So I'm wondering, what if this is just a big show and he gets there and she's like, oh, you have an opponent. You're automatically
or she goes and grabs one of the Georgia Avengers or something.
Or Zach the Gear Guy. I don't know. Who knows? Lord
Jesus. Who knows? I thought there was a clause in the contract that said this was one and done, and that if he didn't win the title, that was it.
Oh, maybe there was. I don't know.
I thought that was the clause.
I didn't read the contract.
I know it's not a matter of public consumption, but I'm just saying.
I don't know.
God,
we'll see. But maybe this is just a big show where she's going to bring
him out. I feel like
out.
that's about to turn into a profane word on this show. The Z word.
Anyways.
I'm with you, though, Brandon. I'm with you. I think that would probably be likely to happen.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
It could.
Because it's unusual. Because how often do we see a graphic for a show, for a match, with a mystery opponent? We rarely see that. So it's, I don't know. Maybe it's.
I don't know.
All the more reason to come to the show.
It could be you, Brandon.
Whoa.
Are you jumping in to qualify for the Rumble Jack?
Whoa, pump the brakes there, GB.
You want to be SHW champion?
No. I know my place. My place is behind
the booker of the company.
He sees if I'm at the table who protects my equipment.
Right.
There you go. Fair enough.
Let's move on. As we're talking about Rumble Jack qualifying matches, another one that we just found out about this week, and you talk about Brooklyn, you talk about her reign as the new booker. Well, she has made it known over the course of the last few weeks, and she actually made it known in the ring at the last show when she talked to Gary that his golden boy, well, she's going to do her best to make his life a living hell, kind of like what she's been doing to Dylan James. And Gunnar Miller, after winning that amazing, crazy, brutal death match against Tank at the last show, you know, his sights were automatically set on getting to the Rumble Jack, winning the Rumble Jack, and getting that title match. I don't know, perhaps at the anniversary or wherever it may end up being, but he wants a shot at the title. And to do that, he wanted to win the Rumble Jack. Well, she's made it pretty much known that she does not want that to happen. She went out of her way to handpick a gentleman that's going to be making his SHW debut in this Rumble Jack qualifying match against Gunnar Miller. His name is Dave Stage. And if you haven't seen this guy, I'm not super familiar with him, but I've seen a few clips here and there. I've obviously seen pictures. If you saw the graphic posted earlier this week, this guy is a beast. I mean, physical specimen. And I know that just several weeks ago, he had a match with ROH champ Jonathan Gresham and put him to the test. I mean, this guy's no pushover. And so for Gunnar, this guy's going to be a real threat, I think. And, I mean, what bigger way to make your SHW debut than to come in, beat one of the top guys in Gunnar Miller, and earn your way into the Rumble Jack. I mean, this could be a huge night for Dave Stage.
I do not know Dave Stage. This graphic is the first I've seen of him, and that's not anything against him. I just haven't seen him. I don't know why, but I want to see this match.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely want to see this match. I think this is going to be one of the faves of the night for many reasons. But yeah, just looking at this graphic, that could be a graphic for any major promotion in the world. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they bringing it like this poster says they're going to bring it, and it's going to be fire. So let's do this. Yes.
Yeah, you know, this is a serious situation that we have here with Dave Stage. Here's a guy who, again, has been fighting some top-tier talent in the world of wrestling. You mentioned Jonathan Gresham, the current ROH World Champion. He just had a big match against Adam Priest. Like, he is fighting top-tier talent, and he calls himself the gimmick destroyer. So he's going after people. And so what's interesting to me about this, one thing I will say is for every qualifying match we've seen, we have seen some top-tier talent battling. Going back to last month with Naja and Rob Killjoy, an amazing match, right? The matches that we're seeing are people who clearly want to make their way into the Rumble Jack because they understand what's at stake here. It is the opportunity to get a direct ticket to become SHW champion. So with that said, I find myself getting more and more nervous because I don't fully understand the depth of the well of resources that Brooklyn Creed has. That's the scariest part of this entire scenario with her as Booker, because she's reaching into places that I didn't know she had access to. And so that should make us all very concerned, because there are all sorts of people that she can get her hands on to bring into SHW to do her bidding. Dave Stage being one of those people. If I am Gunnar Miller, I am very concerned, because fighting Tank and preparing for Tank in a death match is one level of preparation. Fighting somebody who has just fought the ROH World Champion is something completely different. And so I think Gunnar is going to have to really be focused. You know, you mentioned a few months ago, Diana, about Gunnar's focus. Whenever it gets close to title time, something happens to alter his focus. Could this be the same scenario we have seen with Gunnar Miller for the last 2+ years? Will Dave Stage throw him off? And here's the thing. You've got one shot to qualify. So there's not going to be a rematch to get Gunnar in if Gunnar should lose. So this is going to be very, very interesting to watch. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a dark horse match for possibly match of the night, but also for a big upset. Man, probably one of the biggest upsets. You know, and if you talk to Dave Stage, he would tell you it wouldn't be an upset. But I think most of the fans that maybe are not familiar with him, especially with this being his first time in SHW, this could be a pretty big upset and a pretty big moment for him if he can upset Gunnar Miller there. So, oh man, it's going to be exciting. Don't want to miss it next Friday. But you mentioned Naja last month or earlier this month. I guess, no, it's July, so it was last month.
Yes.
I'll get my days right.
It's okay.
But Naja had that Rumblejack qualifying match with Rob Killjoy last month. And so we know for sure he's in the Rumblejack next month in August. However, Chip Day, who has just recently, I guess you could say, gone out on his own and is now going to be focused on his singles career after turning on his tag team partner, his longtime partner from Tech X, Kyle Matthews. So now Chip Day, as he focuses on his singles career, is going to be facing Naja next week at SHW41. And whatever you think about the attitude of Chip Day, the attitude change, whatever you want to call it, he's an amazing wrestler. Naja an amazing wrestler. I just think this is going to be an amazing matchup.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I mean, the athleticism between both of these guys. I mean, you got the technical wrestler of the year, one of them that's ever been, one of the best that's ever been, and Naja, who is just all over the place. I mean, talent pouring out of his skin. And then they're going to collide in this match. And I mean, who wouldn't want to see that, right? I mean, yes, my heart is broken. Texas, they're gone. They're no longer. They're whatever. That was heartbreaking. But I mean, anything Chip does is going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see this match. Period.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I caught that. I totally agree. You know, Chip Day, the current reigning two-time technical wrestler of the year. I mean, he is a problem. He has always been a problem in the ring. Now you add this, pun intended, chip on his shoulder with Kyle Matthews. And now we have an interesting scenario. We have to go all the way back to December 2020. It's the last time Chip Day got anywhere close to the SHW championship, when he ended up in that championship scramble match, and ultimately his shoulders were pinned to the mat by the champion, David Ali. From there, Chip ended up pursuing tag team aspirations, ultimately becoming a tag team champion. And I think he was in that tag team for so long that many of us forgot what he really could do as a solo competitor.
Oh, yeah.
Now that he is focused on his own, with this chip on his shoulder, this could be the most dangerous version of Chip Day we've ever seen.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Naja needs this match to prepare him for the Rumblejack coming in August. So I think this is another must-see match, and I can't wait to see it. This is going to be amazing.
You know that Naja's already qualified, so win or lose, this match is still going to prepare him or get him on that road.
Oh, for sure.
There's going to be things to learn from Chip, win or lose.
Yeah,
that's right.
And you know he's going to want to. He's going to want to build that momentum going into the Rumblejack. Yes. So he's going to definitely want a victory here. But one thing that I'm curious about, and I don't know, I know the week following the incident where Kyle Matthews took the brain buster on the stage, it looked so vicious, so brutal.
Yes.
And, you know, I know he was feeling that for a couple weeks after the fact. I don't know what kind of shape he's in medically. I don't know if he's cleared to compete. I know he's not on the card for SHW41. I don't know if he'll be in the building. You know, you mentioned Cyrus earlier. Could Cyrus show up and come after Judas in his match? Maybe. I don't know what kind of shape he's in with his eye after getting stabbed in the eye. But the same thing with Kyle Matthews. I'm not sure what kind of shape he's in. Could he play a factor in this matchup?
Right.
We don't know. We could see Naja able to get the advantage that way if that happens.
Can you imagine that?
I don't know. So we'll see.
It could happen. It could absolutely happen.
Again, only way to find out. Join us next Friday, July 8th, and see for yourself. It's going to be awesome. But moving on down the list here, Now, here's a match I didn't know I wanted to see until I saw the graphic for it, and that would be Jordan Kingsley, who's coming off of this great undefeated streak in 2022. It came to an end last month when he lost to Carly Bravo. Bravo may have had his feet on the ropes, but neither here nor there. But anyways.
I didn't see that on my monitor.
Oh, you missed it. You have a monitor? Wait a second. Wait a second. I didn't see it on a monitor either.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying.
But anyways, Jordan Kingsley still has had a great 2022
Yes.
despite what happened at the last show. Now, he will be facing the Black Cloud of Contra, Joe Black, who anytime anybody's facing Joe Black, I feel bad for this person.
Yes.
However, Jordan Kingsley, this could be a big moment for Jordan Kingsley to prove a point, to prove that this undefeated streak up until last month was not a fluke.
Right.
So we'll see here. But Joe Black, we've seen his attitude change ever since he's officially aligned himself with Contra. I don't know that anybody can stop him, honestly. You know, I mean, good luck to Jordan.
Well, since he turned like on Owen, he just went crazy on Owen. He's had a different frame of mind.
Right.
This thing just kind of falls in place with his path right now.
Yeah, it could be a big moment for Jordan Kingsley if he can find some way to do it. However, I just don't see anybody stopping Joe Black.
We've talked about how Jordan has been on this undefeated streak, but somehow it just doesn't feel like he's winning. Even though he's winning, it doesn't feel like he's victorious. I mean, I don't know what it is. There's like a plateau that seems like he's got to break through. If he beats Joe Black, there will be no question. It'd be undeniable. Jordan Kingsley would be ready for the next step in whatever it is coming, wherever it is coming. Do I think it's going to happen? It's Joe Black. It's Joe Black.
Yeah.
I mean, hadn't seen a promo from Joe in a while, but I've seen what he's writing on socials, and he's not bothered by this, not one bit. It's more like did y'all see what what's next? Yeah, so that's prayers for Jordan. Prayers for Jordan.
Yeah, I think Jordan has a very tough task ahead of him, particularly, one could argue the most important match that you have is your first match after a loss once you've had a really long streak going. Because the question is, how do you rebound from that, right? Yeah. And so the question now is, knowing that, he just kind of barely lost that match to Carly Bravo. He was neck and neck. The two were really fairly even throughout the match. Obviously, he's got to feel like his stock has risen. And what a difference a year makes. Last year at the Rumble, Jack, he had a shot at the championship that many questioned. It almost felt like, I don't want to say it this way, but it almost felt like David was providing some sort of charity to Jordan, a step of goodwill in giving him a shot at the championship. This time, at least where Jordan Kingsley is right now, many could argue he's earned the opportunity to be in title contention. And so my thought is, him fighting Joe Black can be looked at as punishment on one end. On the other end, it could be looked at, this is the closest step to cruel that you're going to get right now. So if he can beat Joe Black, then it seems like there would be a title shot somewhere in his future. It would seem that way. And it is easy to say on paper because Joe Black, we watched Joe Black win the SHW championship on a broken freaking ankle, right? Like, we've seen the things that Joe Black can do.
Right.
So Joe Black on two very healthy legs with the backing of Contra, the most dangerous version of Joe Black we've ever seen. And that is saying something. Yeah. So I think Jordan's going to have to reach to a place that he hasn't had to reach to in a very, very long time to get the job done next Friday.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, when I first saw the graphic, I was thinking, the first thought I had was, what did Jordan do to Brooklyn to piss her off? Because, it's almost like she's put him in this match, like what happened with Dylan last month. Like, I'm going to put him in a match with Joe Black as punishment.
Right.
Well, I don't know if there's some heat there between Jordan and our new booker or what the deal is, but
well, you did say that that Carly and Brooklyn were very cool.
So there you go. Maybe that's something to do with it. Who knows?
There you go.
Knows? Well, speaking of
what
Dylan,
does Joe get out of? What is Joe getting out of?
A rep.
I mean, he's already got that though.
No, not a reputation. Just the repetition of being in the ring. It's practice for him. It's not even, because at this point, right, it doesn't sound like, and I don't ever want to put words in the promo king's mouth, but it doesn't sound like the SHW title right now is on his list of goals. He just really wants to be in a space of domination. And there is a point that you get to where you are at a place where you don't have to have the championship because you're a made man. I think Joe Black is in that arena right now.
Yes.
And so, you know what I mean? So I think for him, it's an opportunity to stay fresh, keep the motor rolling, and get some aggression out.
Yes.
That's what he gets out of the deal.
Well, we touched on Dylan a second ago and how Brooklyn's trying to make his life a living hell, like she is with Gunner now too. But last month, we heard this announced at the last show that Dylan will go into this month into SHW41 and have to face in singles action his longtime tag team partner from Happy Badness, that being our pal Sal Ronaro. Now, we kind of talked about this on a previous episode of the podcast here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out because you would think, it's not like, for instance, we talked about Brooklyn bringing in Dave Stage as like almost like an outside hitman to come in and take care of Gunnar Miller. It's not like she's doing that with Sal to Dylan. These guys are close friends. These guys are tag team partners. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they just won the Southern Fried Tag Team Championships again. They're as close as ever, in my opinion. So I don't know how this is going to play out come next Friday. If this will be an actual one-on-one match, if maybe Sal comes in and refuses to do Brooklyn's bidding, and who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, if you know Brooklyn and how she's ran things, she's not going to allow for Sal and Dylan to be in a match where if it's just a regular match that they just refuse or they just play around or whatever. She's probably, don't want to put words in her mouth like you said, but she's probably going to put some sort of stipulation to make them have to fight, to make them have to make contact, and whatever that may, I have no idea, but I don't see her just letting it. She's thought about this. She's smart. She's thought about this. I mean, I would love to see it not go the way she planned, but there's going to be something. There's going to be some kind of stipulation or rule or something. They're going to have to fight.
Yeah, in terms of what she gets out of the deal, I mean, think about this. Can you imagine? I don't want to put any ideas in her head.
Just
so let me say this. So let me just say this another way. So for all of you out there watching, imagine that you and your best friend have just accomplished something major. How can somebody get to you? By getting to your best friend and by causing you and your best friend to have to compete against each other, something you've never, ever thought about. God forbid if somebody said, you three in V3 have to compete against each other. We would just be like, are you kidding me? There's no way. But they know that if they said something crazy like your job's on the line or your whatever's on the line, where we had to do it, it would be torture.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes getting the people closest to you to be in combat with you is more painful than to have a hired gun. And so I think that's what she's looking to do to Dylan. And I don't recall, I don't know that these two have ever been in a ring against each other. But certainly as friends, as partners, this has got to be a very trying moment for the both of them. You just mentioned they won tag team gold. Like, that's a significant moment. And to now be placed against each other with no ill will, Brooklyn has quite the mind. Quite the mind.
Well, we know for the last couple months, and again, we mentioned that she's also starting to do it to Gunnar Miller as well, but we know that she's been trying to make life miserable for Dylan, and we'll see what happens next Friday and what may continue to happen. I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to go on, but we'll see. But there's 6 big old matches right there on this card that is going to be worth the price of admission, I promise you. So come on out and join us next Friday, SHW41. But we've got 2 big old title matches to add on top of that. One of them is this tag team title match. I'm talking about AllStar Special, our tag team champs, taking on guys that they are pretty familiar with from all over the indies, not just in SHW. I'm talking about Exotic Youth, the 2021 Tag Team of the Year, coming in here, getting a title shot. It will be, to my knowledge, it'll be the combination of Bryce Cannon and Pepper Bottom, who I think Pepper Bottom, excuse me, will be his first time here in front of the SHW crowd. Am I correct on that?
I think so.
All right. So I'm excited to see it. You know he's going to be excited. Bryce has been here before. Now, Diana, I know you and Bryce have a bit of a history, so I didn't want to stir you up too much, but
it's
your
a
thoughts.
History present. It's like ongoing, and I don't
it's
know.
An ongoing issue, but I didn't want to get you too riled up. But your thoughts on this match? AllStar Special, Exotic Youth.
AllStar Special. Are you kidding me? There's no contest. There's no contest. AllStar Special defends record time. We're all going to be partying. And before the music even stops good, we're going to start it back up. So,
wow.
I'll deal with Bryce. I'm sure he'll have lots to say in the ring. Just Pepper Bottom is just mouthpiece. What do they call him? The Southeast mouthpiece. I think that's what he says he is. Definitely a good title for that little twerp. And Jesus God. ASS, All-Star Special, over the Exotic Puke. That is what I predict. And record time. Not even breaking a sweat.
Wow. All right.
This is what I love about this podcast. You never know what's going to happen, but it's very, very clear that, Diana and Exotic Youth. Got it. This intrigues me for a few reasons. I mean, we can go back to January when there were many, certainly in SHW, that felt like when it came to the Georgia Wrestling History Awards, that All-Star Special should be the leading candidate to win Tag Team of the Year.
Oh, they should have won.
There were,
I'll say it.
Well, I'm in that number.
Yeah.
So when Exotic Youth won, it was very interesting to see how, Huck and Hanson responded, felt like they needed to do more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now we get to this space where All-Star Special are the tag team champions. Exotic Youth has been wanting to get into SHW for a while now. They've had some heated exchanges with some of the powers that be here. And now they've found themselves in a space where they could become the tag team champions. It's a real live battle to see who the best tag team is, period. Is it the team that won for 2021, or is it our current tag team champions? We get to find that out. And this is why we don't do this on paper. It's not up to somebody's vote. It's about what they do in the ring. And I'm excited. Again, I've been saying this version of All-Star Special is the best we've ever seen. And they keep getting better. And that is something that Exotic Youth isn't prepared for. Now, Mr. Pepper Bottom, I don't believe he's normally a part of their tag team. He's usually on the outside of the ring, directing traffic. But they're like one of those 3-man teams, like the Freebirds and the New Day and several other folks that we've seen that can exchange members. Now, that actually could be dangerous for All-Star Special, who might be prepared for the normal pairing that we see of Exotic Youth. So all in all, this is going to be a very intriguing match. And again, anything can happen in these spaces. So yeah, I won't say that it's a foregone conclusion, though Diana obviously, has this as a 15-second match.
Also, All-Star Special, they're very familiar with Exotic Youth.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
All combinations of the team. They actually just beat them for tag titles.
How about that?
2 weeks ago. Yes. That promotion, I believe, is no longer going, but yep. So they've already got one win that I know of and took gold from Exotic Youth. So, well.
I think your graphic says their name differently than it does on the graphic I saw. But
am I saying it wrong?
Maybe. I don't know. I could have just misread it. Anyways, what I'm excited about the match, obviously, but I'm also excited about the entrance because we never know what's going to be in the jukebox. And let me just tell you that since the last show, I had not heard that Backstreet Boys song in years. I hear it that night, and I feel like everywhere I turn, I keep hearing it in different places, whether I'm at the mall or I'm at a restaurant or wherever I'm at. It keeps popping up, and I'm like, wait a second.
And not just hearing it, like I think I sent you guys a graphic that had that on. I was like, really?
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing videos of Backstreet just playing with their kids on TV and singing on stage. I'm like, go away.
You know why? It's because everybody watches SHW.
I know.
And All-Star Special comes out of that song, and now all of a sudden there's a resurgence of that song again. 20 years later, 20 plus years later.
You want your song to go back to number 1, let All-Star Special come out to it. That's good.
Right.
You need some help? Call them.
We'll see. I'm excited to see what they have in the jukebox coming up next week. But
always excited.
All right. So there's a tag title match, and now that brings us to our big main event, the big SHW Championship match. We had him as a special guest on this podcast last week. I'm talking about
lit it up.
The working team captain, Owen Knight, the former champ, getting his rematch against Cruel, the Heathen Cruel, the current champion. And I got to be honest with you, when Brooklyn made that, I'm glad she made the announcement that this match was taking place. I was a little surprised that she did, to be honest. We thought she would have done it right away. And, of course, we saw who she gave the first shot to, and that took place last month. But I was kind of surprised after what Owen did, interfering last month and then getting fired and then winning a tag match to win his job back, like all the craziness that took place. And now he's still going to get this title shot, which is great. I'm a fan of that, but I'm just surprised at the thinking there from the Booker's perspective. But anyways,
I think
we'll see.
Maybe she could be underestimating Owen, that she's got this monster Cruel and he's got the title and he's dominating this and he's this big scary thing. But I do have just a thought.
Okay.
Cruel. Okay. Let me do this carefully.
I've ruffled feathers. We've all stepped on toes. We got to be careful.
Yeah. Cruel is a big 7-footer, not a stranger to any promotion, Logan Creed or Cruel. Big scary guy, right? But how scary is he? Really? He did not scare Zach, even though Zach ran like fire around that ring, but he didn't scare Zach. Is he really scary? Does he do more than choke slam? And
I'll just chime in real quick. I'm scared of him, so I'll just put that out there. Now, maybe Zach wasn't, maybe other people aren't. I am. So,
well, of course, but
say what you want to say.
You don't want to go stay at the haunted hotel either. So,
oh yeah, we'll get into that later. But
yeah,
anyways,
we'll talk about it later.
But I'm just saying, I just want to be careful with what you say, with affiliating myself with your thoughts, because
this is not
I don't want to
speaking for V3. This is just me making a comment that I've noticed that not everybody seems to be scared of Cruel. We got fans trying to knock with him.
It's true.
It's got to be more than just a mask. Show me more than just a mask.
Well,
you're quiet. You guys are quiet.
Here's what I'll say. I've seen Cruel do some pretty scary things. I've seen, him with a chain around the neck of Dylan James. I've seen him, do some pretty damaging things. And I won't mention Tom Zink. I mean, the Z-Man. I mean, yeah, whoever. I won't mention him in terms of a measurement for who's scared, because he is fearless. Tom Zink is amazing. I love the Z-Man, by the way. So with that said, I think the bigger issue is Cruel scary? The question is the former champion fearless? And the answer to that is yes. Think about this. Here's a man who was not scheduled to be on the card last month. Owen Knight showed up in street clothes and was so willing to see justice served to Cruel that he almost allowed Tom Zink to become the new SHW champion. So because of that, and then he went out, was fired, leaves, goes and hires his own cameraman to come back in and interfere in a match, gets himself into a tag match, and before you know it, he has pinned the SHW champion. It's hard to be scared if you've pinned the champ already.
Right.
So I think Owen Knight
with Joe Black out there in the middle of it, like drop kicks him through the ropes as he's pinning.
And I think this is because Owen Knight fought for 8 years to be recognized as the top man in this sport. He fought and fought and fought and went through all sorts of hoops and hurdles. And of course, it's Still Here 3 last year, finally becomes the SHW champion, spends 210 days as the SHW champion to
defending that title.
Defending that title almost more than anybody else. In all kind of places outside of SHW.
Now,
for all that we said about David Ali, nobody defended that title outside of SHW more than Owen Knight. Owen Knight, the epitome of a fighting champion. And so for him to be treated the way that he was, no wonder he wasn't scared. There was nothing else for him to lose. So I think Owen Knight recognizes that this is his opportunity. This is his moment. And I'll say this much. Cruel, Logan Creed, whatever we're going to call him, one thing that is true is that he has not spent a lot of time holding SHW gold. The last time he won that championship, his title reign wasn't very long because it was only a couple of months after that. He won that, of course, at Still Here 1. By the time we got to the December show, he lost that title. So if you're doing the math, we are almost at that 2-month mark, the same as last time. We've got an extremely credible opponent. Could history repeat itself regardless of the mask? We'll find out next Friday.
I'm telling you, if that doesn't make you want to show up next Friday, then something's wrong with you. You got to be there, folks. You got to be there. Next Friday, July 8th, SHW41. Tickets go on sale at the door at 5 o'clock. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Bell time at 8 o'clock. And, of course, this show right here, we will be live on Facebook from 7 to 7:30 with our official pre-show. Guys, I can't wait. SHW41.
Yeah, it's going to be special. Yeah, it's going to be great. So a couple of quick things. Yeah. So today being July 1st, there is a new sale happening on Pro Wrestling Tees where the sale is going from now through 4th of July. And so you can get 20% off of all merchandise. And if you decide to order $150 or more, you get free shipping in the U.S. All you have to do is use the promo code America22. That is America, the number 22. And obviously, you can get your favorite SHW podcast shirts there, ProWrestlingTees.com/SHWPod. Again, use the promo code right now, America22, for 20% off of all of the merchandise there, including things here from the SHW podcast and your friends, V3.
And don't forget about that Bonafide shirt. Bet on
That's
you.
right. That's right.
right.
Bet on you. You can get that shirt as well. ProWrestlingTees.com/Bonnerfied. And let me also offer a big congratulations to SHW alumnus Ben Buchanan, also known as Brooks Jensen in NXT, now one half of the NXT UK Tag Team Champions. So that is really exciting proof that when you leave SHW, you go to big places and do big, big things. So congratulations to him.
And while we're giving shout outs, how about Austin Theory coming face to face with Cena the other night? I mean,
how about that?
And where is that going to go?
Right. I mean, has Theory not had some pretty amazing moments, right?
I want to see his selfie gallery. I just want to see this.
Oh gosh. It's legendary.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
man.
Nobody's got one like that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I can't wait until next Friday. Of course, Diana touched on it briefly earlier. I am going out of town next week, but I will be back for next Friday for SHW41. We're going to Savannah with the family, and yes, I'm staying in apparently the second most haunted hotel in all of America, I've been told, and we'll see how that plays out. So
I want to pay somebody to come rattle your windows.
I'm telling you.
You better not. You better not. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome.
I'll fill you guys in on if I hear any ghosts in the hallway while I'm trying to sleep.
He's not going to sleep the whole week.
Ghostbusters.
I'm sleeping in the car. I already told my family.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Hilarious.
Well, hey, you guys, y'all have a good week, and we will see you next Friday, SHW41, July 8th. And, hey, until then, this has been
SHW.
This is our wrestling.